Hello everybody, welcome to the first episode of Let's Play Pokemon Showdown, and I'm doing a random battle with Parlo the Worst. So the battle started out with me sending out my Meowstic when he sent out his Lucario, which was his Mega Pokemon. So I wiped it out fairly easily because I used Psychic type attacks, which are good against Lucario. Then he sent out his Dunsparce, and I switched to Chandelure. And he used Bite, which hurt my Ghost type. I used Pain Split, which healed me and damaged him. And then he used Coil, which stacked up a bunch of his stats. I used Fire Blast, nearly killing it. Parlo kept going with the coils, increasing his stats even further. I used Pain Split, but it was too late because Dunsparce used Bite, which ended up killing me. Then I sent in an Arcanine, to hopefully solve the situation. I tried using Flare Blitz, but it didn't kill it. As we all know, Parlo is a very trolly individual, and he had to use Roost. Of course, following this trend, he had to use Headbutt, which made me flinch. I fired back with a Crunch, and he used Headbutt, which left me with a sliver of health. I stupidly used Flare Blitz, which killed me, and he used Coil, which increased his stats. You could say my attack fired back. I then sent out a Scizor, which I Mega Evolved and used Bullet Punch on. Bullet Punch had increased power because it was Technician. That's one of my favorite strategies, and you'll see it a lot during this series. I then used Knockoff, so his only reliable source of healing would be Roost. Nothing really interesting happens next, as we just exchange attacks for a while, and he used Coil a couple times. The Coil's bites and bullet punches keep going until his defenses are really high, and there's no hope, pretty much. I was really surprised that a Dunsparce managed to sweep half of my team. It was really surprising. After Scizor fainted, I sent in Bronzong, who fainted in the same turn because of a bite by Dunsparce. Then I sent in Regice, who used Focus Blast, who wiped out Dunsparce once and for all. And Parlo sent in Delphox, and I sent in Meowstic. 2 Fire Blast wiped out Meowstic. I was down to 1 Pokemon, Regice, who didn't even have a fighting chance. He luckily tanked one of the hits actually, and I managed to paralyze Delphox. I was actually able to tank Fire Blast, which really surprised me. But then, as things started to look up, Regice was finally destroyed, and Parlo won the battle. This fight was between me and Omega. Unfortunately, this one went a lot worse than the one with Parlo. I thought it would do better since I was using my actual competitive team. I used Sticky Web and he used Double Team, and I managed to defeat Ribombee after 2 Thunders. This Smeargle went down really easy. It went down with 1 Thunder. Now here is where things got bad. Omega is known for his trolly Clefable, and you'll see why. He used Minimize, which increased his evasion, and my Thunders kept missing. But it gets worse. I went for the Thunder, and I managed to paralyze him. And then he used Minimize again. I tried going for Energy Ball, and he used Soft Boiled to heal himself. I used Thunder, and it missed. However, since Clefable was paralyzed, it didn't get to move. Now this is the real bad part. Clefable kept using Cosmic Power, and you could definitely see where this is going. Of course, with each Cosmic Power, its defense and special defense rose. However, it doesn't really matter because I can't hit it regardless. But it gets worse. As you can see, I tried using Bug Buzz around 4 turns in a row, and none of the times they hit. Thanks, Minimize. Thankfully, Clefable couldn't move due to being paralyzed, so it didn't get a stat change that move, and the next turn Thunder actually hit, and then it used Cosmic Power again. This cycle of missing Thunder and Thunder hitting and doing no damage goes on for a while, while Omega keeps using Cosmic Power. So, Omega keeps using Cosmic Power, and it reaches max special defense and defense, and I think it's a great idea to swap out to my best attacker, and it uses Stored Power, which is his main killer. It pretty much one-shots everything because of all the stat changes he's done. Florges actually is able to tank these hits. However, the Fairy attacks barely do any damage because Clefable's part Fairy type, and I can barely hit it because of the evasion. So, Clefable spells out doom for my Florges. And then I sent out Noivern, which was a terrible idea. Of course, Hurricane does nothing, and Noivern is one shot by Clefable. And I sent out Galvantula once again, and I used Sticky Web on accident. And it couldn't move, thankfully. I use Energy Ball, does 4%, and then Stored Power, which I held onto my sash for. So it was technically a 2-hitter. Did I mention half my team is weak to fairy types? So there was no damaging to be had here. Thunder Mist again, and Stored Power wipes out Galvantula. And now I was only down to 2 Pokemon who can't do anything to fairy types. So, Paralyzed, brilliant. However, he switches out to a Gardevoir. Flamethrower actually does a modest amount of damage. However, Mega Gardevoir tanked the hit, and Hyper Voice nearly kills Mega Houndoom, but Gardevoir is ended, thankfully. And now Salamence comes out, and Houndoom is gone. But now, I send out my final Pokemon, Flygon, and with the 1.5 attack from Moxie, we can guess which dragon will win here. And it's obviously not Flygon. Let me tell you, after those first 2 battles with Omega and Parlo, morale was pretty low. So this battle with Hithenby really surprised me. First turn, I used the Sticky Web, and the next turn, I missed Thunder. How perfect. While I was penetrating the disguise, Mimikyu used Hone Claws, which increased its accuracy and attack. Play Rough would have one-shotted me if I wasn't holding a sash. Mimikyu used a berry, and Galvantula died from Play Rough. I sent in Feraligatr, who was badly crippled by Play Rough. Then I used Dragon Dance, and then I used Waterfall, ending Mimikyu. Here, I run into a problem, because Hithenby sent a Kartana, who is a Grass and Steel type. I nearly ended it with an Ice Beam. However, Kartana's Leaf Blade destroyed my Feraligatr, which gave it Beast Boost. I switch into Houndoom, and he switches into Greninja, which is a problem because Greninja is Water type and I am Fire type. However, I do burn it, and I switch into Florges, who is poisoned. I thought I was going to be able to pull off a Moonblast. However, he sends in Tapu Koko, which means Moonblast will be resisted. But it does do a decent amount of damage. I then suck up the acrobatics and use Moonblast, landing a critical hit on Tapu Koko, making him faint. I then run into another problem. Hithenby sent out Heatran, and Heatran's a Fire Steel type, and Steel is strong against Fairy. And I end up using Moonblast, which was not a good move. And he uses Flash Cannon, destroying Florges, but I send in Flygon, and he sends in an Absol. I landed an Earthquake, which sucked away over half of its health. And then he Mega Evolves, and I use Dragon Claw, ending it all. Greninja then returns to the fight, and uses Water Shuriken. However, it doesn't do much, because I am part Dragon type. And I end it off with a Dragon Claw. Heatran then returns. And since I popped his air balloon before, I was able to use Earthquake, destroying him. And that leaves only one Pokemon left, Kartana. So I ended it off with an Earthquake, and I won the battle.